Hola, buenos días.
Buenas tardes, buenas noches.
This is Barb.
And this is Estela.
And welcome to
Cafecito.
And Crime. Yeah, have you seen, there's a lady que se llama, she's on TikTok, and she does like cookies and crime.
Really? That's cool.
Yeah. So she makes cookies and she decorates them and she's telling you a crime story. And she's actually was on the, parece que salió en el Food Network on the cookie challenge or whatever. Pero she talks like this. And like I think it is so cool.
She's like, she's narrating when the cookies, right?
Yeah, ahí está hablando, but she's like,
you know, some people have the voice,
I'm
like a radio host or algo así.
So fucking awesome. Speaking of fucking awesome, today, while I was on my lunch break, I call Estela and I tell her that I was about to watch my YouTube video.
As she does.
As I do on my lunch break. And I was looking at the patos because there's like some patos right there. And then last time those patos estaban metiendo putazos. It was hilarious. But anyway, so I'm telling her that I found a video where they were saying that from our last case, I don't know if you've heard it, but if you would like to, you're more than welcome to go back and listen, which was the last week's case.
Yes.
De esta Johanna Abigail Ligues. Yeah, Ligues con G. She actually, as I said at the end of the episode, like I said, if you haven't heard it, go ahead.
Su esposo
estaba en la cárcel, pero lo habían metido a la cárcel por otra cosa. They hadn't put him in jail for the actual feminicidio.
Yeah.
Of Johanna. So they actually were able to put him in jail for 45 years plus 3 days.
For her murder.
So, gracias a Dios que hubo justicia para
La
Johanna.
familia de Johanna and Johanna.
That is
and
correct.
Then he actually, you told me, and you sent me the news coverage on YouTube. He actually had to pay for her funeral services.
They did make him pay for that, and they pay, and I think like for like cost of like jail or something like that. I don't know what it was, like courts or I don't know how it works in Mexico, but yeah, he's gonna be in there for a long time.
Hopefully, the rest of his life.
Hopefully,
and no, he still be old.
No, and then I also found out he is 27.
Yeah, he's 27.
Y luego también...
Well, when he killed her last year, he was 26. Yeah.
Y luego, también, the funny part is que dice el señor, y el desempleado, like he was unemployed.
Yes, that's what he noted, desempleado.
Like he had no money.
Desempleado Juan Antonio, right?
Yeah. No, Jesus Antonio. So apparently she had confronted him for some money that she was missing, and that's why.
150,000 pesos charged on her credit cards.
Yeah, so
he ran up her credit cards.
So then he actually...
I feel like that's like the clearest news information that we've gotten about her case, like as a whole.
See,
like
because,
they just...
And then they did find him in a hotel. I did mention that. Y también eso, it was kind of iffy. Y luego también it was over money.
Yeah.
He did kill her. And then
que sí estaba drogado.
Sí estaba drogado. Y además de eso, duró 3 días el cuerpo de ella.
En la casa.
So ya estaba en decomp. Yeah. Cuando la encontraron. Pero qué bueno, me da mucho gusto. Y no sé, I mean, I don't know if they would ever listen or ever hear, but we're really happy to hear that is happening. Yeah. So today's story is going to be brought to you by Estela. How was your Thanksgiving?
It went well. How was your Thanksgiving?
I had a good Thanksgiving. I think that...
I'm glad that you did.
We had a very good Thanksgiving. It went well. Yeah. You were sick, so it was kind of pooky.
Yeah. Sorry, I wasn't 100%.
You were not at your 100. I'm sorry. I need you to get it together.
It just got worse throughout the night.
I need you to get it together.
I know, Barbie. I FaceTimed her, like we were FaceTiming last night, and then she saw telling me, she's like, I'm tired of you being sick.
Yeah, I'm kind of tired of it because I can't have fun.
Yeah.
Because you're sick.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, everything was awesome. My family was over. My sister came and my in-laws were all here. So we had a good time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's what it's all about.
It's all about
football, family,
and food. Yeah. And we had good food.
Yeah. I feel like we always do.
We always do. I've never had food that's not good.
I've never not enjoyed Thanksgiving.
Never.
Except for there were a couple of Thanksgivings where I was straight up completely sick and completely congested, as I am right now, pero where I couldn't taste anything, like straight up I couldn't. So that was like, why am I going to Thanksgiving? What am I going to do?
So yeah, what do you got for us today?
Okay, so for today's case, we are going to Franklin, New Jersey.
Okay. Franklin, New Jersey.
And I think you did a case somewhere, something with Hamburg.
I did.
But I think it was in New York, no?
No,
Or was it New Jersey? Was it Mr. Larry?
It was Mr. Larry. Yeah.
That he got killed at work.
Yeah, work. Yeah, at the baby service.
Yes. So, like, I remember when you were looking up the fun, random, and/or interesting fact about that place. You said that you really couldn't find anything in it. You found something about it in regards to minerals. So that was my case, kind of trying to find something interesting about Franklin, New Jersey.
Okay, so if you would like to learn about Franklin, New Jersey and minerals, go ahead and grab your cafecitos.
And let's get started.
All right.
Though my fun fact is not about minerals.
Though I would like y'all to know that Estela is now a basic bitch because she has a Stanley.
I got it in
It was a gift.
I stole it.
Oh, you stole it from the white elephant?
From the white elephant.
So,
like, I didn't initially grab this gift. I didn't even...
What did you grab initially?
Nothing. I just opted out.
You opted out.
I was like, there was some gifts left, but I was like, you know what?
Did you know what that was? Or was it just in a box?
Ya lo habían abrido.
Ya lo habían abierto.
Sí.
Oh.
Desde ese abrido.
Yeah.
Ya lo habían
It's
abierto.
Okay.
And I was
pink.
Like, do I...
It's pretty basic, bitch.
Yeah, I'm one now.
You are one. Yeah. And then my husband's like, why don't you get a Stanley? I'm like, I have enough fucking cups.
Yeah, mugs,
cups, todo. Pero, I just wanted everyone to know that you're a basic bitch.
Yeah.
Go
and
ahead.
it's not the regular big one.
No. It's the small one.
It's like the smaller ones, the 20-ounce ones that are just like not that big.
I kind of want one now, but I want the one that I send you on Instagram that is it has Harry Potter all over it.
I don't remember.
Oh, because you didn't look at my fucking message, bitch. Okay, anyway.
Do you want to see how many you send me? You send me like 10.
Yeah, and
all at once.
And you should listen to them all.
No, that's too overwhelming for me. You're lucky I only see the last one.
She sees the last one, and then she'll laugh at the last one. And then I'm like, bitch, did you see any of the other ones? No.
That's a lot for my brain too. And then I get them from you, and then I'm in the other group chat, and
it's
I'm
not
like,
do
oh my
you
God.
understand no one else matters but me? Like, what part of that don't you get?
Anywho, as I was mentioning about Franklin, what I was able to find out about Franklin, that's just really random, honestly, is that the first vocational school, so like the first trade school, was built in 1915 after a representative of the town was sent to Gary, Indiana, to investigate the school system, porque no tenían una ahí. After he came back with that information, they actually built a school similar to what was found in Gary, Indiana. And that building, and you know how there were obviously a lot of miners in town, so they would teach a lot of the kids, the miners' kids in that school.
Cool. So, but it was a trade school for what?
I don't know what it was,
okay.
but I believe you could, you know what? No, I'm not exactly sure what the trade, I don't know if they would teach you different subjects and then you would.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Or maybe te enseñaban como like
life skills.
Mine? I don't know.
Life skills.
Maybe. Yeah.
And actually that building is still in use today.
Crazy.
And it's the Franklin Elementary School.
Oh, that is so cool. Yeah, that's awesome.
Cool.
That is pretty cool.
Now, I feel like we say this a lot, and I'm sure we're probably going to continue to say this a lot. Today's case is very, very tragic and very senseless.
As always.
And it's only because they wanted to know what it felt like.
Let's take a quick break. Persons of Interest is back, and it's bigger than ever.
That scream will echo in my head for many years.
Taser! Taser! He's going to shoot!
Oi! Shot fired! Shots fired!
Stay out! You got a gun on you!
He had the perfect aim.
I am absolutely stressed at that point. I have no idea where my officers are.
Persons of Interest available everywhere you get your podcasts.
Yeah.
You know,
that
trash.
sounds about,
Very trashy.
cucarachas.
Very
Trash.
trashy. Okay. So we'll begin with Giorgio Gallara.
Oh my God, I thought they were going to say Giorgio Armani. I don't know. When you said Giorgio, I'm like, Armani.
Who, you know what? I didn't even think about that when I read his first name. That never came to mind.
I love Giorgio Armani perfume.
Yeah.
Okay, anyway.
So Giorgio, who at the time of today's case was either 24 or 25. So I don't know why I couldn't find his date of birth.
It's okay.
Doesn't
we go
matter.
through that all the time.
So I'm thinking he was either born in 1973 or 1974. And his parents were Angelo and Connie Gallara. And I really couldn't find much about who he was as a child, but
He was born.
yeah.
Yeah.
And he attended and graduated from High Point High School and graduated in 1990.
Mm-hmm.
By the time he had graduated, he had already been working at Tony's Pizza and Pasta restaurant for about 2 years.
I feel like there's always a Tony pizza and pasta, right?
Yeah.
Like is that like a common thing? Like Tony's?
Antonio. Like
Antonio.
Italian people or...
I don't know why we made it
I
act
don't know
like
why
we
I
were
said that.
Italian. Yeah.
So also at the time that he had graduated high school, like right after he graduated, he had began dating his girlfriend, Laura Peer. And in 1993, the couple welcomed a baby girl named Caitlin.
Okay. So there's Caitlin, Laura,
Lara. Lara.
Lara,
And Giorgio. Sí.
Armani.
He was described as just always
the
nicest guy ever. Very happy-go-lucky,
helpful,
who would give you the shirt off his back. A cousin of his named Cecilia. So after the case took place, she went on to say, quote, "He would do anything for anyone. He loved his family and had 1,000,001 friends."
Mm-hmm. I want to know when we're going to find a case that the person that died was a damn dick.
You know what? I'm going to look into that.
Yeah, I'm going to look into that too because I need to find somebody.
He was also, of course, a very hard worker, and he had been working really hard and was very focused and had been saving all the money that he could because he had plans.
Mm-hmm.
And it all paid off when at the age of 21, so this, I want to say, was around probably like early to mid 90s.
Yeah. Because you said he graduated high school, let's say at 17,
1990.
18? Yeah, so
yeah. So he bought Tony's Pizza.
Oh my gosh, that's so cool.
From the owner and became its new owner.
He should have called it Giorgio.
But he was 21, bitch.
That's crazy. He saved. Oh, you imagine how hard he must have worked?
I'm telling you, he was like, he had a plan.
I can't even think about paying off a car right now.
Yeah.
Like, that's crazy to me.
Yeah. So Giorgio continued to work hard. He wanted to finish paying off his debt to the owner so he and Laura could get married and have their own home.
Well,
and
he wanted to be set, baby.
Yeah.
He's like, I need to be
my family.
Yeah.
I want to provide for my family. Like, maybe I want to grow my family. And he was
focused,
on it. Yeah. Because I believe at the time they were living with his parents, if I'm not mistaken. So that's where he was in 1997.
But he was doing that for a reason. Like, he was living with his parents para poder juntar su dinerito para poder comprar Tony's.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Y pay off Tony's. Buy his own house. He wanted to get married.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So that's where he was in 1997, which is when this case takes place. And working at Tony's Pizza with Giorgio was 22-year-old Jeremy Giordano. So Jeremy was born on January 6th of 1975 to parents Joseph and Loretta Giordano, and he was a middle child with an older sister. Her name was Teresa, and a younger sister whose name was Valerie. So the family as a whole attended church regularly as Jeremy was growing up. They, I believe, attended the First Baptist Church of Sussex. Jeremy attended Sunday school with his sisters, and he would even perform in the Christmas play. But as he grew older, he stopped going to church. So, he probably started doing other things and stuff like that.
Yeah, yeah. And your parents keep going, pero you stop. Yeah.
You become a teenager, I guess.
Yeah,
start getting
you got
into
other things
shit.
going. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. He attended Valley High School and graduated in 1994. While in high school, he was in wrestling, and they had a plaque that he was in wrestling in the family home. So I'm assuming in la sala o algo. Mm-hmm. And his dad, Joseph, cuando this case takes place, he later goes on to say that he sucked at the sport. But he tried like hell. Essentially.
So he tried.
He was trying. Yeah.
To them, that was his quinceañera picture.
Yeah, la mejor. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And like Giorgio, Jeremy was described as, again, the nicest guy ever, very helpful, super sweet, and again, también will do anything for anyone.
Would you work at a pizzeria?
Hell yeah, bitch.
Fuck,
I'll be in the back eating that shit.
That's the same thing. I was like,
no, when I was in Sonic. When I was in high school, I worked at Sonic, right? Well, I think I was like...
She wore her little skates.
No, I didn't.
No, she didn't.
No, that location didn't have them, but... I was like 16. I think it was my junior year.
You were like, yeah, that was the year that I think that I got with your brother, or a little bit later.
No, I was 16. You're already in my life, bitch.
Oh, yeah, I was.
Like 4 years before that. And no, it was like 2 years before that. So, bitch, yo le picaba al Reese's like no fucking other. I had like a spoon. I would just eat a whole bunch of Reese's all the time. The broken up pieces. Y le echaba whipped cream. Or I would go to the back and then the fridge and eat the Reese's.
Just a Reese's.
Just a Reese's.
Bitch.
That's all I cared about.
She
I didn't
was
care about no
always full.
Oreo, no
That
M&Ms,
Reese's.
just Reese's. It was, I used to do that all the time.
Wow.
But yeah, bitch, if I worked at a pizzeria.
Bro, we would be... Yo no cabría por esa puerta ahí.
Hey, you're talking about the garage.
Like, I'm talking about the garage door. Yo de ahí no quepo. Like, you imagine?
And not even pizza, just like pasta, like lasagna.
Me, I'm a pizza gal. Like, I love pizza because it has two of my favorite things.
Bread.
And cheese.
Yeah.
That's it. So then, like, I don't care. It could have... The fucking toppings could be anything, bitch. But I would be... No cabría por esa puerta y ahorita. No.
I'm a regular pepperoni... jalapeno type of girly. Some spinach here and there, some bell peppers.
You're pushing it, pero me...
Se me está haciendo agua la boca.
Yeah, and I love me some Dan's Pizza.
Yeah.
Bruh. There's a place here called Dan's, and they are amazing. Their cheese is like really like stretchy, and that's the best part. Stringy. Y luego está como... I don't even know how to explain it. My mama water.
Yeah, never mind. Let's stop talking about pizza.
All right, go ahead.
Well, we're going to talk about Tony's Pizza a lot, but let's not think about pizza. So I'm not exactly sure when Jeremy started working at Tony's Pizza with Giorgio, pero Jeremy y su familia lived across the street from Tony's. So nomás cruzaba la calle. Now, Tony's Pizza was located in a small strip mall in Hamburg, New Jersey. It was a small town in Sussex County, and Sussex County was made up a lot of small towns, like a lot of townships that were all really close together, and literally one road or two roads they va through all of them, you know? Kind of like, ¿sabes cómo me lo imagino? Like Dayton, Liberty, Hardin, you know, que una calle te pasa por todo eso. And the towns were towns like Franklin, Hardyston, McAfee, Sussex was its own township, Vernon. So all those little towns were like right back to back to back to back. And since the town was so small, everyone knew of Tony's Pizza. And a lot of people frequented it. Maybe
there wasn't a lot of pizzerias around there, you know?
Yeah, or ones that were good, I'm assuming. You know, people had birthday parties there.
In my mind, Tony's Pizza had the best pizza of the town.
Yeah, I'm sure
in my mind, it had like the stringiest cheese.
They even raved about the prices.
Oh,
yeah,
that's what I'm saying. No, he had the best pizza.
Yeah, he did. I'm telling you, people had parties there. People had graduation parties.
I want my party at a pizzeria.
Family gatherings, you know, such.
In April, you know what's up.
Yeah. Planet. Got you. People had nothing but good things to say about Tony's. The food, the service, and especially about Giorgio and Jeremy. They had really good things to say about them. Later, Donna Rockefeller, who owned a boutique in the same strip mall, and she went to Tony's for lunch every day, went on to say about Giorgio, quote, "He walked with a bounce. He was a sweet man. He was always giving us extra treats, powdered pastries, and appetizers, and never charged for them." End quote. And about Jeremy, Donna said, quote, "Jeremy was always volunteering to help me, shoveling snow or chopping ice outside my store in the winter." End quote. And that is how people knew Giorgio and Jeremy. Just two young, friendly, hardworking men doing the best to help their families.
As you should. Being a good Christian man.
Yeah. I don't know if they're Christian, but...
No, Christian meaning like... Christian meaning a person of basically a Christian, como un cristiano, pues, like a...
That's like the characteristics.
Yeah.
On the night of April 19th of 1997, Laura Peer waited for Giorgio outside of Tony's Pizza so they could head out on a camping trip that he had planned for both of them.
It was when, you said?
April 19th.
Oh, so by that time it was already spring in New York or New Jersey. Okay.
That was another thing about Giorgio, that he loved to camp. And even though there was still some snow on the ground, they didn't care. And they just wanted to be out in the peace and the quiet and the wilderness, which they liked. They liked being out there, you know? And I'm sure maybe when you can get away, I don't know if they were going to take Caitlin with them or not, but maybe they just wanted to spend some alone time together. Sadly, Laura would stay waiting for Giorgio.
He didn't get there?
And he would never show up.
Oh my God, I'm so sorry.
On that same night that the couple was supposed to head out on their camping trip, Tony's Pizza received a call from someone asking if Jeremy was delivering that night. whoever answered the phone, I'm assuming it was Giorgio, no sé exactamente, but the person on the line that answered told the person that called that yes, that Jeremy was delivering and if they wanted to place an order. The caller said, no thanks, that's okay, and hung up. Later, another call came in again, about 10 p.m., where Giorgio took an order for 2 cheese pizzas and agreed to have them delivered to 196 Scott Road. And Scott Road was located in Franklin. But it wasn't very far, literally like 4 or 5 miles. I'm telling you, all these towns were like back to back to back. Scott Road was rural and houses were like really spaced out. There were maybe some like farms and like junk and stuff like that. Sí vivía gente on that road. So Giorgio and Jeremy headed out together just before 10:30 in Jeremy's car, and Jeremy was driving and Giorgio was the passenger.
So kind of le dijo, llévame y yo me bajo y dejo las pizzas.
Well, not even, because later we'll find out that Giorgio never really went with Jeremy. And, you know, whoever delivered the pizzas would go deliver the pizzas.
So then that's weird.
Yeah. So
it'll make sense later, I guess.
Yeah. For some reason, he was like, a lo mejor algo no está bien. Let me just go with him. And this will be probably like the last delivery that we'll make.
Yeah, because it was 10 p.m.
Yeah, it was already 10:30. And Lara was waiting for him.
Because, see, if I worked with you, we would be in trouble because we would do everything together.
Yeah.
I'd be like, vente, vamos. And you'd be like,
okay. And they drove south on Route 94 and east on Route 631, and then turning onto Scott Road, and up a mile on Scott Road was the house. It was surrounded by nothing. Like I said, it's very rural. It was decrepit, the house. It had broken shingles. The roof it had broken shingles on the roofs and the sides, shattered and boarded up windows, and the yard was really overgrown.
Like nobody had been there in a while.
Yeah, nobody lived there. It was abandoned. The porch was falling apart, and it had been empty for about a decade.
Oh, shit.
So Jeremy and Giorgio pulled up to 196 Road, and pretty essentially to their deaths. It was maybe 10:45 by the time that they got there, and Jeremy was in the driver's seat, and like I just mentioned, Giorgio was in the passenger seat. And they pulled up to a couple of guys that were standing on the curb. And Giorgio lowered his window and asked for $16.50 for el dinero que le debían de la pizza to the guys. So Thomas Koskovich and Jason Vreeland were the ones that were standing on the curb. And Thomas turned to his right and asked Jason if he had the money. And Jason responded with a yeah. Pero luego Thomas said, no, never mind. I got the money, and reached into his right jacket pocket and pulled out a .45 caliber pistol.
Holy shit.
And aimed it at the car.
Wow. And
shot it until it ran out of bullets. He fired 7 bullets in total. Jason also shot his weapon into the car, which was a .22 caliber pistol, and he fired 4 shots. So it was a total of 11 shots fired into the car, and both and Jeremy were dead.
For no reason.
It would later be determined that Thomas shot the bullet that killed Jeremy, and that Jason shot the bullet that killed Giorgio. It all happened really fast. I mean, obviously, it happened in seconds, but it seemed that Jeremy tried to step on the gas to kind of get away, which caused the vehicle to roll itself forward, and it kind of it veered off into like a bushy, like muddy area. And then Thomas and Jeremy went after the car, and Thomas went to the passenger side and pulled Giorgio out by his jacket and threw him on the floor.
After he was already shot?
Yeah.
Okay.
And threw him on the floor face down. Mm-hmm. He went to the other side and also pulled out Jeremy. Y le hizo lo mismo, threw him on the floor. He went about searching both of their persons. I guess he was looking for cash or para robarlos o algo. And after that, both of the guys went inside the car, were looking through the glove compartment, just, I guess, trying to see anything of value that they could steal.
But what are you going to steal from 2 guys delivering pizza?
Right. And even then, Jason, I'm not sure, probably they were trying to steal the car. Jason tried to reverse the car out of the muddy, bushy area where it had...
Maybe they wanted to take the car.
Take the car, but it was stuck. And Thomas was like, no, bitch, forget the car. He was like, let's fucking go.
We gotta go.
And they ran after where their car was parked, which was at a bridge that was a little bit more up the road or down the road, no me acuerdo. And this bridge was actually like closed off. Like it was blocked with guardrails. I think it had been under construction. It had been like a long time, but it was just like an easy getaway. That's why they parked there. And as they were running back to their vehicle, Thomas repeated, I can't believe we did this. And Jason then said, I love you, man. and they hugged it out.
Oh, so eran compadres.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So acabas de matar dos muchachos sin ninguna razón y ahora vas a high five each other. Oh,
Yeah.
No. O sea, antes no hicieron fist bump and shit.
A lo mejor.
The fuck? Ay, no. La gente de veras no tiene sense. La gente de veras no tiene...
Centavos.
No tiene madre, güey. Para acabar pronto.
Yeah. When they were in the car, Jason gave Thomas the .22 caliber gun, and Thomas.
I thought they were gonna kiss. Jason gave Thomas a kiss. Good job, bro.
And then Thomas, with both guns, put him under the seat. Mm-hmm. And after driving for a bit, Thomas took off his pants because they had been stained where when they got in the car to search it, he sat in a pool of blood, so se le mancharon sus pantalones, and he changed into a new pair.
Did they live in the car or something? You just had a random-ass pair of pants in this car?
It kind of seems like it was planned, right?
It sounds like it, yeah.
And then they stopped by the Presbyterian church.
To do what at the church, Pookie?
They got out of the car and then walked to the front door. Y se persinaron.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and se fueron.
Once again, no tienen madre.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. They headed to Thomas's house. When they got there, Thomas put his bloody pants and the two guns in a gym bag and put it under a pane of glass outside the house. So he left it outside. And then I think the boys or the young adults and se durmieron. Like they stayed.
¿Cuántos años tenían?
We'll get there right now in a little bit. An hour later, after this happened, a vehicle that was driving by on Scott Road noticed that a car had gone off the road. It had the headlights on, and that it was stuck in the brush. So those people in that car, their names were or are David and Alex, who were in David's blue pickup truck. So they got off to see if anyone needed help because maybe they thought somebody crashed. And as they approached the car, they saw a body, and they were like, "Oh." They didn't even get any closer. They're like, we need to call the cops. So I can't remember. They drove to one of their houses. I can't remember which one. Because remember, it was 1997. Nobody really had cell phones. So it was until they got to one of, can't remember whose house, but that's when they called the police. And it was 11:28 at that point when the police arrived.
So it'd been an hour since they had delivered the pizza.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. When police arrived, they found the bodies of Giorgio Gallara and Jeremy Giordano. So the crime scene was immediately taped off, and the police began to process the scene. Inside the vehicle, there was blood. There was pizza slices on the floor. On the passenger side, there was a spent...
Wasted good pizza.
There was a spent shell casing in the middle of the seat, and a pizza box was thrown outside 20 to 30 feet away from the car, and more shell casings outside. And it was apparent that they were dealing with homicide. Immediately, there were reports about possible suspects on foot, as well as a vehicle. Every police department in the county, Barbie, like the police departments came together.
All of them.
All the little different towns, yeah.
They were like, we're going to find who did this.
Because this type of shit doesn't happen in these little small towns.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Every police department from Sussex County, which is where Franklin is, to Morris County were instructed to contact the Franklin Police Department that they happened to stop any suspicious vehicle.
Like to see if there was anybody.
Yeah,
okay,
they were like, they put out a bolo, like be on the lookout and shit. The medical examiner arrived and pronounced them dead at the scene. Yeah. By morning light, it was concluded that the shell casings, they figured it out, that the shell casings belonged to a .22 and a .45 caliber weapons. Since Jeremy was wearing a Tony's Pizza shirt, there was a broadcast put out to have all departments reach out to pizza places and ask if a delivery request had been called in for the Franklin area. And there were actually 4 other pizza places that received calls requesting a delivery to Scott Road.
Oh, shit.
In Pasta Family Restaurant was one of them, which declined to deliver because the caller sounded suspicious.
Okay.
Tim Keister, I believe is how you say his last name, the manager, said that the caller told him that he had just moved into the house, but could not give a phone number and was very vague about the address. And he was like, nah. Bruh, bye.
I'm chilling, bruh.
Brothers Pizza in McAfee, which is another super small town not very far away, also got a call. The manager, Tony, declined to make the delivery that far at night. He was like, nah, bro, I know it's not that far, but it's too far for this time of night. The caller even offered them extra money to whoever delivered it. But Tony was like, nah, bruh.
It just sounded fishy, you know?
Yeah. And another one was Donnie's Pizza. They were asked to deliver 2 cheese pizzas to Franklin, but Shayna, the employee who had taken the call, told the caller that they didn't deliver and hung up. She was like, "Nah, bro, bye. Yeah, we don't deliver." And
she did the right thing.
When they talked to Shayna, they asked her, they were like, "Hey, what time was the call?" She was like, "I don't know. It was probably like 9:30 or something." She was like, "I don't really look at the time when we get the calls." But Donnie's Pizza had caller ID. So after contacting their phone carrier, they were able to retrieve phone numbers that matched the phone number that the other pizzerias had gotten. And they traced the call back to a payphone at a Dunkin' Donuts on Route 23 in Franklin. The police made their way to the Dunkin' Donuts.
How? Okay, she just acted like she was like
making my way
to the Dunkin' Donuts.
I could go from Dunkin' right now.
Bruh, I'll take me a donut, no time.
You've come a long way for somebody that did not like donuts.
It's just that I think I was eating the wrong donuts.
Who eats the wrong donuts?
You would be surprised.
Where were you eating donuts from?
Like, I don't like all the donuts, bro. Like, I'm being serious. Like, I'll eat
chain
Dunkin',
donuts?
I'll eat like, for example, the donuts that I have down the street, I can eat those. But the ones that your dad brought last time, I couldn't eat them.
Where are they from? Oh, from the place.
I can't. Like, it just depends on the place. Like, if they're too, like, if I could taste the grease from where they fry them, I can't eat them. I don't know why. And then Dunkin', the ones that are over there by my job, that Dunkin' over there, I couldn't eat it. But the Dunkin' over here, I can eat those. So it just depends on the Dunkin'.
And Voodoo's.
But they also brought, actually, Voodoo's wasn't my favorite. It wasn't I tasted it a long time ago. And then not only that, but they brought some Shipley donuts. And I've had Shipley donuts before. And the ones by my job, I had them. The girl was like, "These are really good." And I'm like,
You know what I don't get the hype from?
They weren't the best.
Krispy Kremes.
I can't eat those. They taste too much like doughy, like...
I don't get it.
Así como frito. Like, I can't...
Anyways, back to the story.
Back to buying me Dunkin' Donuts tomorrow. Thank you.
So, like I said, the police made their way to Dunkin' Donuts. And its owner... Para Daria and her husband handed over the security camera footage of the night of April 19th.
By this time, there's security cameras for sure. Yeah.
They also were able to describe 2 people who requested the phone book. Because remember, 1997 here. We use the phone book. It was 2 teenagers, white males, and one of them had a goatee. Other witnesses that were also at the Dunkin' Donuts at the time that the teenagers were using the payphone were able to give the same description.
One of them, 2 white males, one with the goatee.
Yeah. So later in the day, at around 7 because it's the next day now, it's the 20th. Around 7:40 p.m., the Franklin Police Department received a call from an anonymous female who had information about the homicides in Franklin. Because remember, these are small towns. This has gotten around immediately. Yeah. Everybody knew about it. Christine Slater was that caller, and she later accompanied officers to the Franklin Police Department headquarters and told them that she had a friend, Thomas Koskovich, who disclosed to her a day before that he wanted to kill a pizza delivery person.
Wow.
There was also a resident who lived on Scott Road, because he called it in, right, who saw a suspicious vehicle drive by that night with a loud muffler. And the resident drove around the area when he heard what happened, found the car at a house, and called the police, said, like, "I found the car."
No. Yep. Oh, that fool is not playing no games.
Yeah, he was like...
I want him to be my neighbor. I need him to be my fucking neighbor right now.
Yep.
He's like, "I'm not playing with you motherfuckers. I'm about to find this. You guys
killed somebody. I'm gonna find this car.
I need that person to be my neighbor right now."
Yeah. So on April 21st at 2:30 in the morning, the New Jersey State Police executed an arrest warrant for 18-year-old Thomas Koskovich.
Oh my God.
At his grandmother's home where he lived, and he was taken in for questioning.
18.
18.
18.
18. When he was searched, they searched him, officers found a pouch containing 26 pills of Furoscit, which is a prescription drug, weed, 5 $10 bills in his wallet. Meanwhile, the grandmother's home was searched. In his bedroom, police found like really weird handwritten words, I guess you can say, like 5 pieces of like paper.
On the wall or what?
On the wall,
house?
yeah. Oh. The handwritten words were "Weapon spot. Anyone else, we all kill you. Joe spot. Anybody else, he will kill you too. Tom spot. Anybody else, he will kill you too. Jason spot. Anybody, same. Cocoa Puff spot. I'll kill you. 2 empty caliber cartridge boxes."
What the fuck is he talking about?
Yeah.
Was he talking in like code word?
Exactly. So that was found in his room. So were 2 empty 22 caliber cartridge boxes, Giorgio's gym ID, 14 gun magazines, and a price list for crime-related items.
Damn,
such
14
as
gun magazines. Damn.
Such as fake ID cards, literature promoting credit card fraud, and violent writings that appear to be song. I later say are song lyrics. So outside the house, they searched outside the house too, near the front porch. The police recovered the bag that contained the blood-stained khaki pants. Other bags were also recovered that contained more clothes, paperwork, don't know what type of paperwork, Giorgio's empty wallet, and a pair of black gloves.
Y hasta eso, they stole from him.
Yep. And there was also a third firearm. It would later be revealed that all 3 guns had been stolen from a store called Adventure Sport 11 days earlier by Thomas and a friend of his, a 19-year-old Michael Conklin.
You just steal guns like that? You can do that?
They did.
Oh, wow.
I think... Ponte a leer un libro.
Bitch, ponte a hacer la tarea, no mames. Ponte a ver qué haces. Do some knitting or something, fuck.
About 3 hours later, 17-year-old Jason Breland was also arrested in his home in Vernon. Initially, his name was not released because he's a minor, but he was identified by neighbors and acquaintances. They were like, oh, it was him.
Girl, I need his neighbor to be fucking my neighbor.
So who were Thomas Koskovich and Jason Breland?
It doesn't matter. They were 18 and 17.
Yep. Let's start with Thomas. So he was born on May 6, 1978, the second of 3 sons to Steve and Victoria Koskovich. The family lived with Victoria's parents. And when Thomas was 9, his dad left his mom for another woman. His mom remarried 2 years later and moved somewhere else in New Jersey with her new husband. She left Thomas with his grandma, con su mom.
Oh, ella se fue a hacer otra vida.
Yep.
Oh, sounds like somebody I know.
By his own admission, Thomas said that he started using drugs at the age of 13. He would steal prescription pills from his grandmother, including Percocets and other prescription pills. He was enrolled in the Sussex County Technical School studying auto mechanics. He would put out this front of being like the cool, crazy guy that doesn't care, you know those types. A classmate would later go on to say that when they were asked in school what they wanted to do after they graduated, Thomas said he wanted to be a hitman.
Of course he did.
He told one friend while they were hanging out that before he died, he wanted to kill somebody.
Oh, wow.
And others would say that he was full of money-making ideas that always involved breaking the law, such as selling drugs and guns and robbing homes and stores.
Bitch, everybody sang like a little fucking bird. They were like, I'm saying what you did.
And what you were about.
And where you were about.
Before you did what you did.
Yes.
He got a job at an Italian restaurant because he wanted to save up money to buy a car. And he did. It was a 1985 Chevrolet Cavalier.
Okay. Nice
4 months into working at the restaurant, he stopped showing up for a few days. Lo corrieron. But then they gave him a second chance and blew it again after he stopped showing up. He was then fired. By the beginning of April of 1997, he had dropped out of school.
Oh.
And was aimless in life. Pretty much nada que hacer.
I wonder if his grandma was really old.
One thing that I did read where like su grandma took or fought. I read an article in a newspaper article that said that his grandma fought for his custody and then got him and then ignored him. So nomás lo tenía ahí para.
So yeah, that happens.
Yeah. Buddy Dusiak, I think that's how you say his last name, who was a junior at the vocational school, would later say that Thomas had a tough year at school that year, in which he had brought in a sawed-off shotgun. He said, quote, he would bring shotguns in all the time.
What the fuck?
We all thought he was trying to be tough.
Are these people's parents?
Where are the school officials,
Where
bro?
are the school officials? What the fuck?
Well, maybe he didn't get caught. He was just showing them off to his friends, quien sabe.
Estela, do you know the size of a shotgun?
Yes, bitch.
So how the fuck are you gonna hide? How do you conceal this weapon?
They have lockers.
Bitch. Okay, maybe, because lockers back in the day were all just long.
And people had them. I didn't have fucking lockers.
You know what? I never had a locker because I could never open a lock. I still can't open a lock.
But your school had lockers.
Yeah, but I wouldn't put a shotgun in there. They were little lockers. Son de los más cortos.
Oh, no.
I'm talking about back in the day.
No, my middle school had lockers.
Like the
but we
largos?
didn't use them. In the hallways, like in between
No,
your
but like the
classes and
long
shit.
ones or the short ones?
No,
'Cause
they were
remember,
long.
the ones that
Yeah.
went all the way to the bottom.
Bitch, I don't remember. They were red. Because, some people have the bottom one, some people have the top one.
That's what I'm saying.
But they're still pretty big.
No, but the long ones, I know
Like
that
the ones
somebody
from
out
Gin?
there's
Like the
somebody
ones from
out
Gin.
there's with an S can
Tell us if you have
corroborate. If you remember the lockers that would go, it was like a whole locker from the top to the
I
bottom.
think the gym lockers were like that, no?
I don't know, but I remember when I was growing up, they weren't half. They were like the whole thing.
Yeah.
Because I'm old as fuck. But what I'm saying is,
Well, maybe you were
that
going to
where-
school at the same time he was.
No.
No, I think you were in elementary school.
Yeah. But anyway, it doesn't matter.
Yeah,
What
anyways,
I'm saying is,
he had a big ass shotgun.
he had a big ass shotgun.
Multiple times.
Where, like, is anybody checking the backpacks?
His grandparents, I don't think back then, especially since Columbine hadn't happened. Columbine
No,
happened
but
in
we-
99.
but we-
97?
No.
Back then? Who was checking
Well,
shit?
You would, because in my school they would. We had a
What
metal
year-
detector.
Where? What year?
When I was in middle school. So that was in what, in 90? Oh shit, I'm old. I was in 2000. So like in 90.
I think maybe
97.
Damn, who the fuck has metal detectors in middle school?
My school did. I'm being serious. You can ask my sister about that because she went to the same middle school as I did.
Oh, I don't know what to
We
tell
had
you,
metal
bro.
detectors in our school, and we had
Maybe in small. I mean, but you lived in maybe small towns didn't feel like they needed them.
maybe you're right.
Yeah.
But I know that somebody out there that went to school also remembers having. I remember having metal detectors
Oh,
in our school.
we didn't.
Anyway,
His grandparents says that he played video games in his room every day. That's what he did. He just played a whole bunch of video games.
and they would let him.
He read Playboy and hung out with his friends. He had no job. He had dropped out of school. He was scheming up shit on how to kill people and steal their shit and sell their shit.
I remember my husband had a subscription to Playboy. Do you remember?
I remember. Yep.
And then your mom and your dad were like, "You need to take your magazines with you." When we moved out, so then he brought all the magazines with them, and we would look at them. It was for the articles, dude.
Sure. They had very interesting
pieces.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
So, like I said, he was hanging out with his friends, and one of those friends was Jason Vreeland, whom he had recently just started hanging out with.
Okay, they were just newly friends.
Yeah. So Jason Arthur Vreeland was born on September 5th of 1979 to parents Georgianne and Arthur Vreeland. He was bullied and schooled for his psoriasis and was called, quote unquote, greaser because he had to have like lotion in his hair that left his hair oily. Which I know he just killed somebody, but that's fucked up. Like you guys are still kids. Like back then, why are you bullying somebody for psoriasis?
I had psoriasis. I have psoriasis, and I still do, but I wasn't. I mean, people wouldn't bully me very much because
You were taller than everybody else.
I was taller than everybody else. So they thought I was gonna whoop everybody's ass, but I really wasn't. But what I'm saying is like
That's fucked up.
That's fucked up.
Yeah, like that part's fucked up.
Yeah,
You know?
and then
he
you
was like a
couldn't
little
even-
kid being bullied for psoriasis.
That's so messed up. Like that's
Kids are
like,
dicks.
dude. That's like his skin condition. It wasn't something that he could fix.
Exactly.
I know he killed somebody.
No,
I
but
get it. Pero
when
como
he was
quiera.
little.
Yeah,
Like, he was
pero
younger.
still, that's so fucked up.
And he would get into a lot of fights. So he would
Se
defend
defendía.
himself.
Yeah, se defendía.
Yeah, because he would defend himself. When he was 13, his parents divorced. It was reported that I believe there was some domestic violence involved, que su dad le pegaba a la mom and such. So after his parents separated, he lived with his mom and his younger sister. His mom worked multiple jobs to support the family, and he still saw his dad. So dad didn't forget about him or anything like that, but it was only when he could, el papá. And it was reported that when, I don't know how accurate this is, there was never anything to back it up, but it was reported that when Jason would go and visit his dad, he would hang out with Jeremy. And they would, listen to music and
Chill, whatever.
Chill, like teenage year, I guess. But they don't know if if that's true or he knew Jeremy because of Tony's Pizza, because Jeremy would deliver and he worked there and a lot of people knew Tony's Pizza and Jason.
And do you think that's why when he called, he asked if he was delivering?
Yeah.
But why would he want to kill him though?
Well, later, I guess I'll just say it right now. When Thomas, that I said that Thomas ran around to the cars and pulled Giorgio out, and then went around the other side and pulled Jeremy out. That Jason said, "That's Jeremy. That's Jeremy."
Oh, he didn't know it was him.
He didn't know it was Jeremy.
He didn't know that Jeremy worked at the Tony's Pizza.
He knew, but he didn't think that.
Oh, because he asked and they told him no.
No, they told him yes.
I thought you said that whenever he called, they said, yeah. You did say que habían hablado and que said yes.
Pero who pulled up and they were on the passenger side with Giorgio. Giorgio's the one que bajó la ventana and le estaba dando las pizzas. Y cuando ves que ellos están parados and they're in the car, so a lo mejor no vio a Jeremy because Jeremy estaba del otro lado. So that's what's reported, that he knew him somehow. How he knew him, but
they were around the same age, no?
Well, he was 17 and Jeremy was 22.
But still, I mean, around the same age.
I mean, he used to hang out, you know?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So Jason attended the same trade school as Thomas. I'm assuming that's where they met. He dyed his hair blonde and had 8 earrings in one ear and 2 or 3 in the other. He también put out a tough guy persona among his friends. Maybe he didn't want to get bullied or something. He tried to be cool.
Yeah.
He would, very assholey, he would go and look through unlocked cars and steal things from them.
Oh.
Like CDs, loose change, and cassettes. And then he would show off like, hey, look what I stole from this car, blah, blah. Why do people think that's cool?
I don't know, dude.
He also did drugs.
I'm not cool, so I wouldn't know.
He also did drugs and would brag about overdosing on them and alcohol. You're trying too hard, bro.
Yeah, he's
like,
trying.
It's not that deep.
If we're just chilling y luego de repente you're like, hey, you know what? I overdosed. Like, bitch, nobody asked you that. Like, what the fuck?
Get some help. Like, that's
not okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, I wouldn't think somebody's cool. I'd be like, I can't hang around with you because I'm scared, you know?
In school, he got in trouble for fighting, arguing with teachers, and for having poor grades. And he actually had been also previously arrested, and once for shooting a pellet gun at people, which had been recent. So it seemed, obviously you can tell that Jason just seems to be seeking approval from people. Mm-hmm. You know, he just wants to be the cool guy.
He went through a little bit, you know, whatever.
So that's who Thomas and Jason were. You know, very good for nothing, aimless, doing nada bueno.
No, it wasn't that they weren't good. I think that more or less they were just... They were trying to, like you said, impress people, you know, like they didn't have anything better to do. They were fucking bored.
So at the police station, Thomas signed a form waiving his rights, and he was interviewed and confessed to the killings. And he also agreed to record his statement and gave a 46-minute taped interview. Mm-hmm. So he confessed. He was like, yeah, we did it. When Jason was interviewed, it was with both his parents present because he was a minor.
17, yeah.
Yeah. And he confessed too. And in his confession, he said that he didn't want to kill anybody. He just wanted to prove that he was a friend to Thomas Koskovich and that they thought that they were just going to steal. Los iban a robar, pretty much. So Dr. Michael Dune, the Sussex County medical examiner, conducted the autopsies of Jeremy and Giorgio. And he noted that 2 wounds from the bullets that entered the side of Jeremy's neck exited the left side. Mm-hmm. Which that killed him instantly. He also found 2 entry wounds in his left knee and recovered 2 .45 caliber bullets from the knee.
I was about to say, he didn't recover, girl. He did.
Both wounds were similar, which led him know that he had been struck in both locations with the .45 caliber bullets.
So that's why whenever you said que uno le había matado a uno y el otro es because that's the size of the bullet. Well, maybe you're right. He didn't, like you said, it was in the neck because they were standing up and they were in the car.
So they were just shooting into the car. Yeah. So Giorgio suffered 5 bullet wounds. 1 included a graze across his nose, 2 wounds to his right elbow, and a wound to the right side of the face by a large caliber bullet. So esa fue la large caliber bullet for la 45.
La 45?
La 45. So Dr. Dune concluded that the 22 caliber bullet that entered the back of his head was the fatal shot.
Shit.
So the 22 caliber was la que le tiró Jason.
But the back of his head, how? Was he like trying to duck?
I'll explain later. Then it's crazy because he goes a little bit more into detail, but it's at the trial. So Thomas Koskovich was arraigned in Newton Superior Court at the Sussex County Jail, and he was indicted on the following charges. First-degree robbery of Jeremy Giordano and Giorgio Gallara, and the purposeful or knowing murder of both of them. Felony murder of Jeremy Giordano, felony murder of Giorgio Gallara, possession of a firearm, burglary of adventure sport, burglary of Jeremy's car, conspiracy to commit murder, possession of a weapon without a permit, and hindering apprehension. His lawyer, a public defender, David Nufrio, entered a plea of not guilty, and Thomas was held on $1 million bond. Jason Vreeland appeared in a closed proceeding and was charged with purposeful or knowing murder of Giorgio Gallara, felony murder of Giorgio Gallara, aggravated manslaughter of Jeremy Giordano, first-degree robbery, second-degree burglary, conspiracy, possession of a firearm for an unlawful purpose, and possession of the firearm without a permit, and hindering apprehension. He was ordered to be held in jail for juveniles. The Sussex County prosecutor Dennis O'Leary would seek to have Jason Vreeland tried as an adult. And if convicted as an adult, life in prison was a possibility.
Yeah.
And it was reported that they might have even tried to seek the death penalty. But
They have the death penalty over there?
But under New Jersey law, at the time they did.
Oh, okay.
But under New Jersey law, a juvenile tried as an adult cannot be subjected to the death penalty because of his age.
Mm-hmm. Or they could just keep him there until he's of age.
But still, he was... The
trial was at...
No, he committed the crime at 17. So
I mean, but if you're doing grown-up shit, then you need grown-up possibilities of what could happen to you.
Yeah.
Just saying.
But, I mean, life in prison, I think that's pretty much...
Pretty much.
On June 2nd, Judge N. Peter Conforti ruled that Jason would be tried as an adult.
Damn.
After his lawyer failed to prove that Jason could be rehabilitated before the age of 19.
Mm-hmm. That makes sense, though.
And at a hearing in August, it was revealed that the state would seek the death penalty for Thomas Koskovich, and then Thomas and Jason would be tried separately. The prosecution would later offer Thomas a plea deal in order to avoid the death penalty. He would plead guilty in exchange for 30 years to life. And he agreed. But on July 9th of 1998, at around 6:30 a.m., Thomas Koskovich was found unresponsive on his cell floor by a guard doing a routine checkup.
Mm-hmm. Of course he did.
He was transported to Newton Memorial Hospital where he was in critical condition. And now his body didn't show any like trauma or anything like that. But the toxicology report showed that he had taken sleeping pills, which he most likely got from another inmate. Mm-hmm. And it was reported that he left a note and that his intention was to end his life. Now, his condition did improve. So no se murió. It improved a couple of days later.
He must have been pissed.
And was...
I would have been pissed as fuck. I'd be like, damn it, these fucking pills didn't do shit. They came in time.
And somebody else later went on to say that he was like, he didn't want to go to prison. He was scared to go to prison. Because right now he's being held in jail until after the trial, but he didn't want to go to prison. No, he was scared. So that's why he attempted to suicide. That's what I read. Like I said, his condition improved after a couple of days and was deemed stable. But after his attempted suicide, Thomas changed his mind about taking the plea deal and took it back. And he said, no, we're going to go to trial.
Yes, sir. Because he wanted to die, probably. He wanted the death penalty.
Now, trying to find a jury that had no ties to the case was very difficult.
It's really small there.
I think the jury selection went on for 5 weeks, bitch. Mm-hmm. According to the New York Times article by Robert Hanley, quote, some potential jurors were rejected because they were regular customers that ate at the pizza shop. One rejected juror once bowled with the father of Thomas. Others were rejected because they had other ties to people connected to the case.
I'd be in line, be like, please pick me.
Oh, bitch, they would never pick you.
No.
The defense asked Judge Stanton in March to transfer the trial to a different county, but he refused. I don't know why.
Not to make it difficult.
But you're trying to find an impartial jury, not somebody that already has a bias.
But
you know?
Because of the fact that he wanted them to go down. So he probably
I think the evidence was there. They were going to go down anyways, but whatever. So at last, the jury was selected by both the defense and the prosecution, which included 7 women and 5 men for Thomas's trial. And then for Jason's, it was a jury of 9 men and 3 women. I don't know why I put 9 men and 3 men.
All the men.
All the men's. So Thomas's trial began on April 5th of 1999, and the prosecution was going to argue that Thomas and Jason killed just for, quote unquote, the thrill of it. They just wanted to know what it was like to kill someone, and the state called to the stand multiple witnesses to testify. So I'll just kind of go through some of them. So Christine Slater, who called in the anonymous tip, she told the jury that she and Thomas had a conversation in which he told her that he wanted to join the mafia and be a hitman.
Okay, good for him.
And that it would be easy to get noticed by them if he killed somebody.
Oh, okay. So he was doing it to get into the mafia.
But Thomas later goes on and denied that he said this. But I'm pretty
believe,
sure.
I believe
Christine.
Yeah, Christine, you know what you're talking about. Why would, like, she has nothing to lose, dude.
Yeah. So I'm not sure if it was in the same conversation where he told her that he wanted to be in the mafia, but according to Christine, Thomas also told her that he wanted to kill a delivery person by having a pizza delivered to a remote area where he could kill the delivery person and steal that person's vehicle, which I mentioned, that's pretty much what she told when she called in the tip. Mm-hmm. Now, Michael Conklin, who robbed the Adventure Sports Store and the guns with Thomas, he also testified.
Oh, he testified instead of being in jail?
Oh, he got his shit. I mean, he got Damian charged with what he did for the guns, but he also testified, and he went on to say that Thomas also told him about his plan to rob and shoot a delivery person. And you see, Michael was invited by Thomas to participate in this robbing of this person.
Said, nope.
And Michael said, bro, I'm unavailable.
Nah, brown cow. Not today.
He disappeared. He made sure he was unavailable. He was like, nah, bro, I don't fuck with that shit. He knew what was up. He knew what was up. He was trying to do that. He's like, nah, I'm good. After the murders, according to Michael, Thomas walked up to him and they shook hands. And Thomas asked him, quote, how does it feel to shake the hand of a killer?
Oh, wow.
Real, like, he's a real hard ass or some shit.
Yeah.
Jason Kelly, who was a friend of Thomas, told the jury that he had given Thomas bullets for a .45 caliber pistol at his request. And remember, it was actually multiple residents, not just the one that went and looked for the car, but he was there too. They also testified, and they, again, went on to say that they heard an automobile with a loud muffler and one headlight on Scott Road that night.
Only one headlight?
One headlight. Bro, you're going to stand out. First of all, get your shit straight. Apaga both lights.
Pues se ocupa una si no ves, güey.
Why are you driving with the fucking loudest muffler? First of all.
That's the way the car is, güey. Like, there's nothing you could do about that shit.
Quítaselo, ponte otro.
No,
get a little Honda muffler.
The Hondas, they're loud, dude. They have power.
Un smart car.
Yeah.
People that testified were also other witnesses that were at the Dunkin' Donut when they were calling up, making the phone calls to the...
So they were just chilling there with the phone book talking about, let's call everybody.
With the phone book. Yeah. So the medical examiner, Dr. Doon, testified and relayed to the jury the injuries of Giorgio and Jeremy, which is what I mentioned earlier. También the findings, the weird letterings that were found all over his room, también that was presented to the jury. The findings that were recovered from his person at the time that he was arrested and what was found in his grandparents' home were also presented to the jury, which included the bloodied khakis. The state also brought a DNA expert who found a match between Jeremy's blood and the blood on the khakis. Mm-hmm. So that was a match. And also found a match between blood on a coat that Thomas was wearing at the time that he was arrested that matched the blood of Jeremy and Giorgio. So DNA was there, bitch. And then also the jury also heard the audio where Thomas confessed.
I was about to say, he had a coerced confession and shit for 40 minutes.
Yeah, but then, some confessions can be coerced and all that stuff. So, but the DNA is there. And, that's the thing. Like, everyone knew he had done it. There was no denying it. Like, that wasn't what the trial was for. What his lawyers, the defense, were trying to accomplish was to have his charges reduced so he didn't get the death penalty. That he didn't plan to kill anybody, that he just wanted to rob them, and it was a robbery that went wrong, pretty much. Now, remember, like I just said, the strips that were handwritten that were all weird and shit about Coco's Puffs and Tom Spot and Kill You Too. Well, the defense also called Jason Kelly, the one that gave him the bullets for the .45 caliber. And Jason went on to say that those things didn't really mean anything, that it was just a joke based on a movie called Stripes. I've never heard of that movie.
Me neither, but it must be good.
That they, like I said, they didn't mean anything, and it didn't make Thomas think about killing or that it pushed him onto it. The defense also called to the stand Dr. Frederick Rogers, an expert in clinical psychology with expertise in substance abuse. According to Dr. Rogers, Rotgers, while he didn't find that Thomas was suffering from any type of mental illness, psychosis, or depression, he did suffer from a substance abuse disorder. And at the time of the murders, he was under the influence of the Fjorset, and he didn't really know what he was doing. He said, quote, his capacity to commit the offenses knowingly and purposely was significantly diminished, end quote. To this, the state called to testify Dr. Azaria Eshkenazi, I believe is how you say her name, an expert in forensic psychiatry. She disagreed with Dr. Rogers.
As he should.
Noting that Thomas, he was under the influence, but Thomas's memory of events was spot on. Like, he didn't miss a beat. So she was saying that his actions were not affected by the use of the Fiorset.
Fiorset is just a headache medicine.
So Thomas was found guilty on April 23rd of 1999. And since this was a capital murder case, the penalty phase trial was set to begin 5 days later on April 28th, where at the end, the jury would sentence Thomas for the murder of Jeremy Giordano. Because, he's the one that killed Jeremy, not Giorgio. So in the end, the jury unanimously found that the state had proved beyond a reasonable doubt the felony aggravating factor. So when the prosecution presents evidence to prove an aggravating factor, it is to get a harsher sentence. In this case, that would be the death penalty. And aggravating factors are defined as any acts that increase the level of severity of any criminal activity. In this case, the aggravating factor was that while committing a felony, the robbery, the act of murder was also committed. So Thomas Koskovich was sentenced to death on May 7th of 1999, but Judge Stanton included a condition to the jury's death sentence. It was that if the death sentence was not carried out within 5 years, he would reduce his sentence to life in prison.
What?
I know a lot of people were pissed off, but apparently...
Is that common there?
No, apparently it was like a protest against prolonged stays on death row. Because you know how some people, like, your appeals can take up to 10 years. Your appeals can take up to...
People are, like, in fucking death row for like 20 years.
Yes. So I guess he was protesting that, but whatever. So he is currently serving a life sentence. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, I read that the death penalty was abolished in New Jersey, I believe 2005 or something like that.
Oh, you got lucky.
Now, Jason's trial began on December 6th of 1999. Again, the prosecution's arguments was that Thomas and Jason were killing for the thrill of it. Jason's defense argument was that he just followed Thomas's lead and that he was the real mastermind behind everything and that Jason just gave in to the peer pressure. A psychologist named Dr. Paula Bortnichak, sorry, I think that's how you say your last name, ma'am, testified that Jason became dependent on Thomas and that the two shared a quote-unquote submissive relationship, that Jason viewed Thomas as a charismatic and powerful leader. Dr. June, the ME, testified again in Jason's trial también, and he explained a little bit more about what happened as far as the details go as the wounds. He said that the bullets from Jason's .22 caliber gun were the ones that killed Giorgio, right? We said that. He said, quote, 2 bullets from the .45 caliber gun struck Mr. Gallara's right arm. So those were Thomas's bullets to Giorgio. So Thomas's gun shot him, and that bullet entered his right cheek. The bullet to the cheek spun Mr. Giorgio's head to the left, exposing his back of the head to the window, and that's when Jason shot him in the head. And that's the killing shot that shot him.
So the force of the gun kind of just made him do one of like that.
Right. And it was the 45 caliber that made his head spin to the left. And then when the back of his head was to the window, that's when Jason shot his gun and killed them. Which is that's to think about. It's like, and it's all happening like
within seconds.
Millimeters
of seconds. Is that
like
even
a blink of an eye. Now in his confession, Jason said that he shot inside the car, but it was towards the dashboard. Detective James Molinaro testified that there were no marks, no holes, or tears in the dashboard. And a lot of the same evidence, of course, was used for Jason's trials too, the DNA, the witnesses, so and so. So Jason Vreeland was found guilty for almost all charges. He was acquitted of 2, the purposeful or knowing murder of Jeremy and hindering apprehension. He was sentenced to 51 years to life on February 25th, 2000, with a minimum of 30 years, plus 21 years for manslaughter. He will have to serve them consecutively, and he will be eligible for parole on October 18th of 2044 when he's 65.
He's still young.
Yeah. Now,
He still can get Medicare.
so that pretty much essentially that's the case. Now, I just wanted to leave it. Now, the house was tore down. Like the owner, he tore it down. I think it happened like 3 years later, if I'm not mistaken. And they just don't want it. They didn't want it up. They didn't want people to come from other places to come and fucking look at the house because people be doing that shit, you know?
Why? Oh,
I don't know.
I would do it.
Yeah. You're like, why? I would do it.
Yeah.
So they didn't want that kind of,
Attention.
Yeah. So he tore it down. But I wanted to say something. Jeremy's older sister, Teresa, she opened up her own restaurant and catering business in honor of her brother, Jeremy. And it's called Jeremiah's Gourmet Deli and Catering. And like his pictures are up on the walls and stuff to remember his life. They wanted to remember him. And she had been trained at the Culinary Institute of America, and Jeremy would always brag about his sister being a professional chef.
That is so awesome.
Yeah.
Yay. That is awesome.
So that's the case of the murders of Giorgio Gallara and Jeremy Giordano.
Thank you, sister, for that information. We appreciate you in my life.
You're welcome.
If you don't mind, please continue to download our episodes. Thank
Leave
you so
us a
much.
review.
Please do. Also, if you would like to, just give us a little follow or let anybody know about us on Instagram at
Cafecito and Crime Pod. I was about to say .com, but no.
no .com.
No.
But thank you for watching my video. We appreciate you.
Thank you, listener.
Thank you for listening, and I hope everyone has a wonderful day.
Night.
Bye.